Hello, heroes of Hyrule. How are you all doing this fine weekend? Okay, I finally opened the chat. Hello, everybody. I want everybody to say hi in the chat while I press A for Astral Chain. Okay, I haven't actually tried. Actually, I haven't even tried it yet. But I'm supposed to do a live stream of it. We'll see about that. But today we're gonna play Link's Awakening, the remake. Let's do this. Hi everybody in the chat. Hi Lynn. Hey Kyle. Hey Nicole. Hey Silicat YouTube. Glad you made it. Hey Marco. Hey Angel FBI. Hey Charlie. Hey Emilio. Hey Blue Pelt. Wait. There's the intro. Hold on with the highs. There's an intro. It's exciting. Oh, it's the trailer one. What the heck? Hey Exum. Hey Cassandra. Hey Cned. Hey Artwolf. Hey Tommy Gun. Hey Flux. I wonder if the ending is also the same. Bam! Links wake up in the sequel. Thanks everybody for saying hi in the chat. I love you all. I really appreciate everybody who's tuning in and join me to play this amazing game from my childhood called Zelda Link's Awakening. I love this melody. It's so gentle. The sounds are so gentle. Oh my god, oh my god. It looks gorgeous. So I think I finished the original, like the colored one, like a year and a half ago. But I remember this game by heart, really. Oh, there's other save, that's nice. What? There's a hero mode, take twice as much damage with no hard drops. No hard drops? Are you kidding me? Should I? Wait, normal or hero? Normal or hero? Wait, that's gonna make things so interesting. Hold on, how hard is this game? Did they make it even harder? Twice as much damage, no hard drops, advanced player. I'm an advanced player. I beat the original like 60 times, I don't know, in like 20 years, 30 years. Hero, okay, everybody say hero. Wait, people are saying normal. Name thief. Wait, hold on with the name. Normal, hero. Okay, everybody's saying hero. Hero mode or you're not a hero of Hyrule. Hey, Mollis, glad you're excited for Prologue 3rd. I'm excited myself. Okay, let's play hero. Screw this. Hero. Okay, name. Medi or Link? I really like calling him Link, to be honest. But let's call him Medi anyway. Wait, what happened if I call myself Thief and then steal something from the shop? I wonder. Wait, what? What the crap? Just name him Medi. Medi. So again, hi everybody and thanks a lot for joining in. I really appreciate it. Now let's begin the adventure. I have the chat in front of me. I have one of the coolest games ever made. I'm ready. I love this music. I used it in 4 Link's Adventures, if everybody remember. Hey Emilio, hey Xavier again, hey David Peters, hey Bretzels, hey Legendary Gyros. I really appreciate everybody joining. Why don't we begin the adventure? I want to read everything. I want to see if they change. They're tossing and turning. Yeah, they changed the text. I mean the script. They changed it, like, definitely. Koholint Island. Okay, Link woke up. Isn't that? Hey Alejandro. Hey Stoleron. What's up, Stoleron? Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Stoleron, my man. Hey, Plus Ultra. Hey, DJ Mike. Wait, I know. Okay, I know this game by heart, so I won't get stuck at any point. Now, give me my shield, god dang it. We got the shield. Okay, so you hold R. Blub, 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 blub. Let's venture and explore. Even though I know the map by heart, it doesn't matter. Let's re-explore. Whoa, that was a long loading time. Like, what the crap? You can pick up cuckoos from the beginning. What the crap? Let's go grab my soul. What? Let's jump up. Boop. Parry. Can you parry the same? Like, wait a second. No, I don't know if there's parry. Maybe with the creatures. Move, move. Okay, let's try not to die from the beginning. It's double damage. Can you please replenish my health? Hey Ops, it's me. Welcome. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome. It's the ancient owl. This game is all a dream. Or is it? Hey, Livy the Geek. Yes, I have a soul. I can fight people now. Can you refill my health, please? No, they didn't refill my health. No. Rupees, give me those rupees. Wait, so no heart pieces anywhere? That's not good. I gotta be. I'm almost dead. So how do you refill your health? Okay, let's grab Yoshi and stuff. Yeah, but this is kind of like the second remake, I guess. Because there was the colored one. I played the original one and then the colored one like 10 years after. Whee! They made the music so minimalistic here, I noticed. I love the windfish melody. Look! What's up, chicken? Should I steal something from the beginning? Wait, no. Let's wait on this. We'll steal things later. Okay, first of all, we need some rupees to get the Yoshi doll. This is gonna take like 2 seconds. It's a secret seashells. Okay, so to people who don't know, if you collect all the secret seashells, you go to a house and they give you a level 2 sword. Let's check the menu. Okay, that's the menu. Map. It's all locked. Okay, I got something. There's so many options. So I'm kind of disappointed in just let us equip everything on the... Oh no! Is this Breath of the Wild? This game is unexpected. Since when do they hit you? No, I already died once. It's gonna... What? It's gonna remember my death at the end of the game. Dang it. That was quick. Okay, how much was the game? Was it 10 or 20? Okay, 10. Okay, we need the Yoshi doll. Did they change it? Move forward, move right. Okay, move right. Oh, what the heck? Okay. It kinda accelerates and stuff. First try, give me that Yoshi. I don't have more rupees. Okay, we get the Yoshi doll. Hey, you want the Yoshi doll? I'll give it to you if you can accept it. Okay, so we gotta watch out from dogs. They can kill you. Okay, so I'm collecting just 10 more rupees to get the heart, and then we can continue. Can I get the last rupees, please? Oh no, you can scroll between the screens, so you can make the thing respawn. Okay, we'll get back to it when I have the rupees. Okay, she wants the Yoshi doll. I got the ribbon. Okay, so the ribbon. No rupees, come on. Hey, rupee. Just one more. I can't wait to get the Pegasus boots, like seriously. I wanna run all over the place. Okay, let's grab the thingy since we're here. Whee! Ten, 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 ten. Okay. Play. Wait. Take the 10 rupees. Okay, let's do it correctly again. Oh, does it count? Does it count? Yes, it does count. Wait, there's physics. Don't fall off. No, no. Okay. Whew. That was a close one. Wait, why can you get the Bao female thingy? Huh? Is that new? It's a rare find. Okay, I'll get her next time. Okay, let's go to the forest. What? You can use the D-pad. You gotta use the joystick. That kind of flingy. Why not give the options? Why? Okay, she's supposed to be here. Yeah, makeup, jewels, dresses. She wants. Okay, she wants the ribbon, obviously. Hey Nisha, happy you enjoy my channel. Okay, dog food. Okay, dog food is to the. I think it was for the alligator on the beach, if I'm not mistaken. That was a funny scream. There's 2 more to go, and it will be a little more OP. Okay, so go. What, you can't cut like a Link to the Past? Come on, jeez. Why can't you cut the freaking sign? Mysterious forest. Yes, I know. Okay, so before the first dungeon, we're gonna go to this forest, find a mushroom, save talent, and then grab the key for the dungeon. Okay, that's talent basically. But we need to fight. We need to find a mushroom. Pam 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 pam. Wait, not from here, not from here. Ten. It's the ferry. Oh wait, yeah. Well, with the ferry you can refill hearts, obviously. I forgot there's fairies in the game. So this really looks like they use the Pokemon Let's Go game engine. It seems like similar. What the crap? Okay, let's go in. Pam para pam pam. Gotta find a mushroom. Wait, what if I... Okay. Rupees? 50 rupees already? Go. Okay, I gotta watch out from here. It's like double damage. Hey, Agent FBI. Hey, Fear Games. Okay, remind me how we do this? Oh wait, no, I need to lift those. I can't do it right now. I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I do have Splatoon 2. I don't think I've done a stream of Splatoon 2 really. You can't lift it yet. We need to have an item for that. We'll come back, don't worry. We found the mushroom. Oh wow, you gotta grab, I forgot. Okay, so we take this mushroom. Where's the fairy when you need her? Okay, we can't jump here anyway. Okay, let's go back to the ferry. So I won't die. Hey Dominic, thanks for joining. Push Link, you can do it. Okay, don't kill me. One hit and I'm dead. Like one heart is like, that's it. Okay, don't mess with me. Okay, please don't, nothing kill me, please. Wait, what's the icon on the bottom left? What does it mean? That I'm in a hostile... It's the piece of power! Was that fairy? See ya! Let's heal your wound. Okay. Happy you love my videos, Dominic. Okay, so we need to go over here now. Don't mess with me, I'm OP and I can run fast. And now I have defense. What's up with the RNG? Woo! Okay, now I have defense on. Okay, now we go to the witch, and she's gonna cook for us. Hey, Godzilla. Okay, let's give her the mushroom. In the frenzy of the cooking. Okay, let's equip it. 19. I don't want to buy it. Let's go save Talon. The Italian. Go, 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 go. Blue rupee. Give me the blue rupee. Oh, I surprised him. So you can surprise him from the back. That's kind of cool. What's up? What's up? You dead? Oh crap. What's up, Talon? This is literally one-on-one remake. Like everything is literally the same. Okay, now let me pass. Can you refill my health? Flip. Okay, we got the tail key. We can now go to the first dungeon. Okay, come on. It's the owl again. Hey, Blue Trifles. Happy you made it to the live stream. Dang it. Oh crap, no! I forgot to put the shield on. Oh, dang it. That's not good. That's not good at all. But I don't really need to talk to the guy because I know what to do, but... Oh! The way Link grabs the thingy. So the right joystick doesn't do anything, basically. Okay, let's go to the first dungeon. There's no point, there's nothing I can do here anyway. Ooh, he almost shot that spear and killed me. Wait, so the only way I can refill my health is the fairy? That a little bit sucks, I guess. Heal my wounds, please. What the crap? So you say the stream is lagging? Why is that so? Wait a second. Okay, we've been here. Let's go to the dungeon. Quickly. Okay, here, when I get to the dungeon, I'll restart the live stream. Okay, I shielded and hit it the same time. Okay, there's a seashell here on this tree. But you need to, you need the Pegasus boot. Okay, let's enter the dungeon and restart the live stream. Inside. Okay, let me quickly restart the live stream and I'll be back in like less than a minute. Okay, so I restarted the live stream Should be good now. Now let's do the dungeon. Okay, so you get a key here, I remember. Give me the key. Thanks. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. So I've restarted the stream. It's working fine. Oh crap! There's so many creatures. Oh, what the crap? Compass. I knew it. Okay, so the compass can help me. The tone will tell you if the key. Yeah, that I know. Okay, so. Okay, just show the. Okay, I thought it adds something new to the game, but it doesn't. Hey, no, I do not have Cadence of Hyrule, but I heard it's a really awesome game. Ooh, that's kind of useful. Although the creatures here are not really. Wait, was that a button? Yeah, it is a button. Okay, the button looks weird in this game. It's a key. Say the name of your friend. This is Link's Awakening. That's. Come on, what the crap? Okay, the rock feather is here. We're almost. Oh crap, I didn't buy bombs. I forgot to buy bombs. Dang it. I forgot to buy bombs. Go, 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 Link, go, Link, go. Okay, so if you get the beak, it can give you hints. But yeah. Ba-da-da-dum. Oh, now they gave me the thing. Well, at least I can run faster now. Let's go. I'm Link the OP. It's the first 2D segment. Go, 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 go. Blah, 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 blah. Go for it. It's the rock feather. Now we can jump. Okay, we can now jump. Whee! Wait, I didn't equip it. Gotta equip them. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, it's a different animation when you jump. It's like a slice. Hey Shimada, happy you love my videos. See ya. Oh no, we don't. Thanks for the rupee. Let's speedrun this dungeon. Whoa, that was a close one. That was a close one. Thanks for the key. Hey DJ Mike. Thanks for the love. Happy you're enjoying my videos. Nice. Oh, that's awesome. Wait, why is the RNG so high in this remake? I don't get it. Jump! Wait, you can go up. What? The crap? It's the mini boss. Slice in the air. Ooh, good thing I had that defense. If not, I would have died here. Go, go, go. I'm not jumping. Wait, I don't have the key yet. Why am I here? That's when you fall down the boss. Dang it. Why did I come? In the previous game, it just went through the door. What the crap? Okay, so moving on. I just use the jump to go from other places. He fell. Oh, he didn't fall. He looked like he was about to. Jeez, I don't need them. I can seriously skip all the freaking. Maybe besides the last dungeon, which I don't remember like 100%. Like the 7th and the 8th one. Wait, do I have a key? Yeah, I have a key. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Okay, he's dead. Bam, bam, bam. See, it was right here, basically. Okay, so besides the bomb, which I don't have at the moment, there's just one. Just go up and that's it. Wait, what's in the... Oh, it's the owl beak. Jeez. I seriously don't need those items. Because I know what to do. Hey, thanks for subscribing, William Russell. I mean, thanks for being a subscriber. Whoa, that was... I got it! Okay, that's the beak of the owl statue. Which I don't need at this point, to be honest. Oh, I think there was a seashell in the wall that you can explode. Jump! Okay, let's kill the final boss. Go, go, go! Yeah, it's the caterpillar from Links to the Past. Outsider. See the attack? Oh nice, now you see the name. Okay, don't be angry, come on. Oh wait, no, it's super fast. Oh crap. Whoops. Okay, do my hits still count though? Like, or is it from the beginning? Do I still need to do the free hit? I hope the color dungeon is in this version of the game. It should be. I'll definitely choose the blue tunic. Stop being in frenzy mode. Okay. Ah! Spare my life. I have just one piece of heart. Spare my life. Okay, he's dead. We made it. I didn't die. Yes, this game is fairly simple, yes, but where it gets complicated and hard is in its puzzles. And especially when you first play this game, the puzzles in this game are so freaking intense. I mean, they're like, what do I need to do? Like, who's supposed to do this? What do I do? What am I supposed to do with this item? But once you obviously know what to do, it's fairly simple. It's really fun though. Let's hear the cello. Rest in peace, Burger. He did look like a burger, to be honest. Link just ate the burger. Swamp. I know I need to go to the swamp. A path opens in the blooms. Okay, so I need to come back here for the bomb. And for this tree, because it has a secret issue. So in less than 30 minutes, basically 20 minutes, we finished one dungeon. Okay, now let me just oh wait, I think I need to lift stuff over there. Okay, let's go slowly. Wait, no, let me come back here when I have the bomb. How much rupees do I have? What's the rupees? 102? Okay, do you want me to steal stuff from the shop or should I buy them legit? I prefer to buy because it's less cheating in the game. What's up, kids? What happened? Oh yeah. So Bao got kidnapped. And I need to save him from the moblins. They're all panic. They look like me's. Don't they? They look like me's. Jeez Louise. Go, 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 go. Everybody's panicking. Wow, wow. Okay, anything I can do here? Let me just check something real quick. What's the new prizes besides the shield? Oh, a seashell. Let me do the seashell 1 second. I can do this again. To be honest, it was way more difficult in the original game because you had the conveyor belt. Oh no! Come on. Okay, that was quick. That was play. So what happens if I get this? I don't remember this being in the game. Oh come on! You should grab it. Oh dang it. Okay, let me try one last time and we move on. Okay, that's good, that's good. Although it's a ball. So in the original, you couldn't get a Bao in the... So I don't remember why you can get it here. Maybe there's a new side quest? Give me my item. There must be somewhere you can... Oh, okay, you can display figures apparently. In some house in the game. Okay, let's go save Bao. What's up, Melon? Ah! He didn't catch. Oh wait, I want to buy bombs. 1 second. Not steal them, buy them. Okay, I can buy the shovel. 200 rupees. 200 rupees. Wait, why is he not selling bombs? I can buy house too. Why is he not selling bombs? And where's the bow? I think they changed it. In the original it was there from the beginning. Okay, let's go save Bao. Everybody's panicking. What the crap? Let's go save it! This game has a lot of slowdowns, I must say. Like, it's smooth now, but every transition in the screen just lags. Like, there's like frame drop. Hopefully they're gonna do a patch. Oh no, what the fuck? Ten. You gotta use the shield. Well, not really. Oh, I can get another. Okay, one more and I have a piece of heart. Okay, let's go here. Oh wait, where am I going? I'm supposed to go to the swamp. Like, here. It's a statue! Okay, let's do this. Hopefully I won't die. There's lots of moblins here. Flip! Okay, that was it. Oh, okay. Thanks, game. Well, now it's gonna be easy. Like, what the fuck? Flip! What, you can have it charged while having the shield? That's so, like, easy then. It makes things so easy. The boss fight. I must be the assassin. Come on! Whoa, what? Where? Come on, come on, come on! What the crap? So you can't really strafe in the game. It's a little bit weird. It makes things easier, you just walk, you can't really... Wait, can you go backwards somehow? Oh, only with the sword, okay. You can even do the jump and do it in mid-air. What's up, Bao Bao? Follow me. Wait, is the chain 2D? The chain is 2D. Okay, now let's kill the swamp thingies. Dang you, I will stop messing with the rhythm of the game. Hey, that's Grump. Okay, so I think they changed the camera house to something else. Come see you in the shack. That doesn't sound good. Wait, is it coming? Oh, okay. So that's the Zelda Maker dungeon thingy? What? What do you mean? So what? Okay, maybe he wants me to come back later. Please say re. Why say re? Special about re. Why can't you reach it? Grab the ledge, Link. I need to circle the whole place then. Jeez Louise. Let me lift it. Whoa. Okay, now I'm OP again. Weak Bao Bao. What? How did he hit me? Okay, now I must refill since I'm already here. This is hero mode, it's freaking fast. Yeet! Yeet, yeet. Woof, big, woof, dig, graph. Wait, he wants me to dig? Wait, he said that I can dig here. I don't have the shovel yet. Maybe I should just steal the shovel? Okay, let me, I should remember digging here. I think there's a seashell over there. But he just ate him. Okay, that's the guy who writes stuff. Who writes letters, I think. Yeah, it is. Whoa, whoa. Okay, was there a piece of heart here? Because if I get one more... Is it? No, this one. Sucks. Can I make it? In the other game you could make it. Oh, that you need to lift. Whoa! Why is Baba so OP? No, that's just the thing. Oh yeah, how do you get this? Hey, that's kind of cool how you jump. Look, is good. Okay, so they just go inside the dungeon, really. Come on, eat the thingy. Thank you. Eat the last thingy. Yeah, the frame rate really drops in this area. Wait, it's just a rupee? I can almost get the shovel without stealing. Okay, so there was only one treasure? Yeah. I thought there were two in this one. So what happens if I come from? Okay, I remember there was another just right, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let's go inside the dungeon. Dungeon number 2. Yeah, there's purple rupees in this game. I can lift stuff. Let there be light. The dungeons in these games are so much fun. Like, seriously. Especially with the puzzles. I'm sure there's a few puzzles that will take me a second to remember. But... Wait, should I do that one or that one? Let's go left. Anything that's a map, a compass, or the beacon. What the crap? I'm almost dead. Oh my god, am I gonna do the whole dungeon with one life now? That's gonna be nervous. Oh, I jumped! I jumped! It didn't jump! Why did it not jump? We didn't want to jump for some reason. Oh, come on! Oh, come on! Oh, come on! Really? I'm at the same situation as earlier, jeez. Okay, I don't really need a stone beak. Okay, you know, actually I do need a stone beak. Because there's one puzzle that tells you the order of something. So, I don't remember that by heart. Somewhere with bunnies and a gold. You'll see momentarily. Oh, no, 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 kill me. Oh, so how do you regain health? Like, there's no way, huh? Aha! It's a key! I knew it. Okay, so what if I go here and then here? Woo! It's a treasure chest. What's inside? Another key. I have 2 keys already. It's the Shy Guys! What's up? Oh, come on. I need to go back all the way. You kinda need to jump, like move after you jump. Kinda weird. Don't kill me. I have 3 keys then. Wait, can I do the show? Do. What's up? He's dead. Wow, so I'm gonna have 1 heart the whole freaking dungeon. I think he's doing gymnastics. Wait, there's nothing I can do here. Oh wait, there is. Go, 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 go. And the door opens. I mean the stairs. Okay, so in this dungeon you can lift stuff. You get the items so you can lift things. Come on, spikes, don't kill me. Do. What the crap? Ah, help! Don't kill me! Okay, that's the room with the... No! What the crap? The jump can be so laggy in this game? No! I was about to enter the puzzle room. God dang it. Okay. Deathless run, I can do this. It's never too late. Oh wait, there's a key here. There's a door with the key. Oh, I think that's just to get the map. Oh, maybe the comp. No, I think this is the map. It's not too useful. Because I know the map. Oh no, it's a compass. Do. See ya, Skelly. Go. Go. Give me that powder thing. Ooh. So now they give me this when I don't really need it. Okay, talk to me later, turtle. Am I heavier? Bam. Wait, so he does the... Oh yeah, like in the previous game. So he does it kind of like vertically. Bam. Oh no, it's the boss fight, it's not the puzzle. Wait, I don't have arrows. Bam. What the crap, man? Okay, so they changed hands. He never grabbed it. I don't remember him grabbing it. Whoa, that almost killed me, kinda. Okay, we're almost grabbing the thing. We're almost at the item. Okay, maybe not. But we're almost at the item. Let's retry. Death count. I think that's the 5th death. Bam. Well, at least let's use the portal. It was right here. Wait, is this the statue with the... Here, see? Now I remember. That's... Good thing I read this one, because I need to remember this. I can just take a picture. Defeat the imprisoned Paul's voice. And then so the bunny is second. Imprisoned and okay. Imprisoned bunny and stuff. No, the trifle. The useless man. Thanks. Okay, I think that's the item. Wait, no, it's on the door to the left. It's at the door at the left. Okay, let's grab the thing. It's bows. Aha, and they're dead. Now we can lift things. It's about damn time. It's the power bracelet. Wait, how do you pick up stuff? Oh, just A. Oh. We can break stuff. Although there's no heart pieces anyway. So what the crap? Do. Yeah, that was hard. Bam bam bam. Oh wait, that's not good. Oh what? He fell. I didn't even notice there's a whole pillar. Give me them rupees. Okay, I can buy a shovel now, I think. Okay, here's the puzzle room. Okay, so kill the. Okay, wait, what was it? Kill the imprisoned one. That's the bunny. Okay, bunny, bat, and then the thing. No, don't notice me. Dang it. Kill the imprisoned one. Wait, how do you kill him? What the crap? Oh wait. Okay, he's dead. Now the bat. And now him. It only walks in this order. Oh, it's kind of cool how Link moved while other chest was challenging. Okay, we got the neighbor key. Oh, yeah, that was easy. Wait, is there a point? Should I even? I think it's just a shortcut somewhere. If I'm not mistaken. No, actually you need to go there. Okay. Explore all the rooms then. Do. Give me them rupees. Let's kill the bunny. Okay, I think that takes us to the boss. I think so. Go. So it's kinda heavy, so you kinda need. But can you squish Link between the thingies? Or does he get pushed out? Okay, let's see if I can kill him with 2 hearts. I think that's the genie. Yeah, it is the genie. It's the genie in the bottle. What's his name? The clown genie. I'm your bad guy this time. Genie, original name. Best original name of 2019. Come here, you freaking clown genie. How many fireballs do you have? Bam! That's one hit. So people who play this game for the first time really need to like think about the puzzle. Okay, one more and he's dead. Well, he's like the easiest boss, I guess. You don't really need to hit him. You just need to dodge. And then, like, how can you get hit besides the final? He's there. Wait, no, wait. He had to continue. No. Crap. Please don't kill me. Woo! Just one more hit. No! Okay, whoa. Whew. I thought he hit. Wait, he's not dead yet? Why is he not dead yet? No! It was the worst timing of the spin ever. Like, seriously. I just needed one more hit. Jeez Louise! 50 rupees. We're rich, guys. We're rich. So, did I grab all the chests? Yeah. Use it. Come on. Rest in peace counts. I think that's the 6th death. Is it? We can see on the save file later. Okay, so that's basically a shortcut to the boss, if I remember. Yeah, it is. Let's jump like Mario on the creatures. Don't slow. Okay, I thought he's gonna jump out. Now the other doesn't match. Let me run away. Oh crap. What's up, bunny? You're dead. Wait, was there a seashell and I don't remember? I don't think there's seashell. Nada. Okay, let's kill the final boss. Dang it. Look at Link's black eyes. They look so dark. What? You can look at the screen, but it doesn't. Go. Okay, let's redo this correctly. I can't break the game. There's no cartridge. Well, not really. Link's Awakening is not really one of my inspiration for Heavenland 2nd, but I guess I can take some clues from it, but it's inspired by something else entirely. Okay, list him one more time after this and kill him. We blew the bottle of the gin. Where is he? Where is he? Wait, you can hit him more than once? I guess maybe it's gonna count. I think just one more spin, because the spin is stronger. Yeah. What do you mean, Xavier? I uploaded a video yesterday. Give me that heart. Give it. It's a heart container. Okay. Look at the seashell thingy. Bloop. Let's hear the sound of the seashell. Well, it's like a corn horn, so it's not really seashell. Prairie, prairie. I know where I need to go, I think. Pretty sure I know where to go. That was sneezes. Oh, now we can go more places. Yay! Okay, give me that heart piece, like piece of heart, so I can. Oh, go up, bro. Oh, that's to go to the egg. Let's see the egg. Found Tamaranch, what the crap? Okay, the egg is unawakened. Okay, let's go back to town and... Oh, wait. Will he actually show me this time? Link can go under the mud with infinite jumps. Okay, so I can already build a tiny dungeon. Amiibo? I don't have the link amiibo. What does the amiibo do? Anybody knows? I have just Zelda's amiibos. Dungeon rearranging 101. Okay, so wait, all of them are but what dungeon? What? I don't get this. What's the 2 levels? From dungeon 1, dungeon 2? Oh, I see. Oh, it's the types. Okay, it's the types. I see now. You just finished one. Geez. What do you mean there are rules for what? Move. Wait a second. Oh dang it, you can't even. Wait, so what generates the keys basically? The game? Oh wait, that's not good. That's not good at all, to be honest. Wait, it's actually good. Wait, hold on. It is good. Hold on. Okay, please tell me there's one that I need. Wait. Oh, I used it. Wait, no, I don't have it. Oh, dang it. How come it doesn't... Wait, I can use this. And then use... this. I got it. One chopper with stairs isn't enough. You should put a second stair too. What do you mean? Oh, cause it has the stairs. Jeez. Stupid. Is this really the only one I have? How about I just put this? And then I can use this. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, I think I'm done. Okay, so there's 3 keys and 9 chests. Record. What does that mean? Wait, why is it not good? Oops. Oh, why did I delete this? It says check, but it's good. What the crap? How do you start the game? Okay, it doesn't say there's any button. Wait, what am I missing? Anybody understands what the crap? What? How do you start it though? Grab. Oh, here, start. What the crap? You gotta highlight the thingy. Jeez Louise. The goal of the is to get to the end of them. Okay. So let's see what you get from those dungeons. Like... Okay, key. There should only be for like 3 keys. Another key, everything is keys basically. Wait, I forgot what okay, I should go here. Oh, come on. You can't hold the thing, apparently. One rupee? Really? That's the reward? That sucks. What about when you finish the dungeon? That's what I'm curious about. Huh. It's rupees so far. Rupees, joy. Okay, so now that we're done here, basically, we can go to the park. Hey, Owen Dunn, happy you joining the live stream. Come on here, back. Are these kisses or back? What do they count as? That was super easy. Oh wait, I understand. Okay, so this chest in the next room is supposed to be something new, because it was already in the game, in the map. Wow, 50. I'll be reaching now. Wait! What happened to all my rupees? Didn't I have like 200? Did dumping like cost me money? Wait, do you lose rupees when you die? Wait, is it because I'm the dungeon? I'm not sure. Let's see what's going. Where's all my rupees? Does it only show the rupees I have at the moment? Like inside the dungeon? Possibly. Okay, so I don't get it. There's no new items and stuff. Flip, flip. It's rupees basically. Flip, 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 flame. Many creatures in this game. So the boss key is in the boss room, like the last. Oh no, I have like 2 hearts. I can only get hit once. That's not good. That's not good at all. Okay, everything is cleared. Which boss is it though? Oh no, I would have preferred the genie, to be honest. Oh no, it should have been Spanish. Get the crap away from me! Stop with the frenziness. Oh no, it's getting longer. Okay, I got it. So what do you get? I got just another one. Oh? Wait, so I don't get it. Aren't you supposed to get like... Okay, I'll continue this later, but you're supposed to get like bottles from it too, so you can use it for stuff. Okay, moving on to the third dungeon. There's some preparation before the third dungeon. Oh, a secret. Okay. Okay, now I have all the rupees. It was just the dungeon rupees. Okay, did she give me the elixir? Did she give me the elixir? Okay, good. So I have an elixir. That's one way to not die. Yes, I'm 333 years old. That makes sense. Bam. The crap. Okay, it's those three. Wait, I forgot what's inside here. There was a ghost quest. But oops. But what can you do before? Oh, okay, you need the thingy. You need the hook shot. Hey Emilio Ortiz, glad you joined in the live stream. Okay, let's go to the third one. So many hooks. What the crap, man? Whoa! I thought it's gonna land on it. It's Octorock's wing. Okay, let's activate it. Wait. It should walk on one place. Okay, no. You need to open the other one. Okay, let me think this for 1 second. Oh, okay. What the crap, man? ₹50. What the crap? Okay, I forgot how you do this. How do you do this? Okay, you're not doing it from here. I have all the tools, I know that for sure. So, supposed to be from here. Whoa, he almost killed me. Oh, okay. We got another hard container. That's the fourth one. Yes, refill my mouth while you add it. Okay, let's buy the shovel. I don't want to steal things. I want to be a decent person. You can steal. Let's steal. The shovel. Why really open the big thing? It's kind of, they don't even use the ZL buttons instead of equipping items. That kind of sucks. Just useless buttons. You could equip stuff to them. Why didn't they let you do it? Wait, you can't do it sideways? Oh wait, you can. Wait, now that I go in, does it give me the bow and arrow already? Oh, okay, how much is this? Do you want me to steal it? Let's steal it anyways. It's way too expensive. Okay, forget it. I don't want to steal it. No. I don't want to be a thief. We'll steal it maybe later. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how fast I get 980. Should be faster too because you can do those mini dungeons and stuff. Steal it! Steal the bow! Wait, I don't want to steal the bow. Okay, just soapy. Nothing interesting. Okay, let's get the crap. Let's bring Bobo back. Bow bow. Thank you for saving him. She's not even giving me anything. Nothing. Woof woof. Okay, so the dog food. Let's go get the dog food to someone. Well, let's see how the bombs look. Okay, the animation. I expected more than the animation. Ten. It's over there. Okay, let's just grab the seashell real quick. Doors are just off. It's Rupee up there. Secret seashell. Okay, you can also get the boomerang. Let's see. When did I get the ocarina? Okay, so this is cleared all the... Wait, there's another... How did I miss that chest? I think it's just rupees though. It's not a seashell, that's for sure. Really? He's killing them? Really, I didn't do it last time. Probably just rupees. Meh. Okay, now it's clear. Okay, now we can finally go to the beach and then the third dungeon. It's about time. Schwix Van Velu. You bought your Switch day one? I actually got the Switch like 6 months after it got released. I was waiting on Mario because I already had Zelda on my Wii U. So yeah, really, look at the RNG in this remake. They just throw all the items at me. Okay, so he sells the boomerang? I kind of forgot. Someone here sells boomerang. Okay, I think he appears here after the 4th or 3rd dungeon. So we'll come back here eventually. Let's give the dog food to the guy, to the alligator. What the crap? Wait, what? That's the ghost house, right? Yeah, it is the ghost house. I love the music. No, wait, I get confused. That's not, it's supposed to be on the beach. Like, literally on the beach. That's where you see with Melon. Oh, here is the house. Okay, so the alligator should eat the dog food. Yes. Basically canned food. The animations are so cute here. Do. Bananas! Okay, so you give the bananas to the monkeys. Wait. You give the bananas to them. Hey, you give the bananas to the monkey. And then from the monkeys they fix the bridge and they give you a stick. And then the stick, you go give it to Malin and you get a beehive. And then you give the beehive to, I forgot who, to be honest, but I'll remember. Go, 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 go. Wait, when did she give me the ocarina? I forgot about that. Okay, she'll eventually give me the ocarina. Let's finally go to the third dungeon. Whoa. Okay, that's the third dungeon basically. Wait, I think it's the third one or the fourth one? I'll remember shortly. Okay, you want me to find the leaves in the castle?
Yeah.
Hmm? Okay, I have a shovel. Wait, they're all in the castle from what I remember, right? Let's go to the castle! Oh wait, I'm not supposed to go from here. Wait, what's down here again? Oh no, I was about to shield. Whoa, there's so many creatures. Okay, so here you go with the chicken. You need the chicken for this. Hey, there's a piece of heart in the thing. Okay, so since I have bananas, here, we'll give it to the monkey. The monkey is so shiny. And now I have a stick, which will give Malin soon. Okay, so that's the secret entrance. We're infiltrating the castle. Whoops. Wait, why do I need a shovel again? I mean, one of them is buried, I think. But... supposed to dig somewhere here, right? I think he gives one lift. Oh no, what the crap? It's the first one. We gotta collect 5 of these. Oh no, why? How? I forgot what you're supposed to dig it. Okay, I'll find out later. Let's grab the other one first. If anybody remembers where you dig the other one, let me know. Oh, good thing I have the elixir. Does that count as a death though? Okay, 3 more to go. The gates are open. Just somehow the sound effect, you can hear him walk on carpet. Oh no, how did he hit me? The boss fight. Do the boss fight. Is there a leaf here? Well, you can still get bombs with you. Wait, you're supposed to jump? Come on. Okay, die. Okay, so I have 4. Where are the leaves? Eh? Oh, it shows on the top, on the top of it. So crap, I forgot what you're supposed to dig. Just all over the place. I think it might have been. Oh crap! That's not the shovel. I think it was somewhere here. Am I correct? Was it here somewhere? I just dig all over the place. Can you dig the flowers? Maybe it was under a rock. I forgot where it is. Anybody remembers where it was? That's one of the things you don't remember. You can't even reach it. Where is it? I forgot where it is. You gotta dig all over the place. Well, it was kind of somewhere specific, but not really. Anybody in the chat knows where the last leaf is? Before I dig the whole castle. I'm gonna reach the sequel of Breath of the Wild at this rate. I mean, you think it's gonna be in those holes, but it's not. I mean, it was inside the castle area, I remember. There's no way it was outside. Killing it's gotta be. Probably not here though. Better. I don't remember it was in some corner. Do one by one, please. I mean, he said you need the shovel, so like. Wait, you know what? I think it wasn't even here. I think it's in the area next to his house. I don't think it was in the castle. Maybe Nintendo changed the location? I don't think so. Okay, just to make sure. Okay, let's not do it. He respawned the hole, the ground. Where was the last one? I really forgot where it is. Wait, I think. Oh, now I remember. He was here. He was beneath the statue. It tells you to dig here. Oh wait, maybe it was for a seashell though. No, wait, I think it's gonna be a seashell. Ooh, that's useful. Oh, what? I forgot I changed it. Why isn't the jump a freaking button? Like, really? Wait a second, do this thing. What was the point of this rock? Was there a point to this rock? Okay. It says dig here, no? Around here secrets are on the high. Oh, it's just a seashell, it's not the leaf. Wait, so where was the fifth leaf? I really forgot where it was. Wait, I know where it is, Can I jump off here? No. I can jump off here. Oh crap, he hit the one. Dang it. Oh no, almost dead and I don't have a thingy. Okay, there's no point in going there anyways. That was just a waste. Go, 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 just run for it, Link. Okay, so the last one was close to his house, I remember. Wait, is this the correct hole? Okay, I may die, but I think that was a secret. Oh no, it's just a freaking hole. What the crap? Jeez Louise. I thought it's a way to get to the garden, jeez. How do you get to the garden? Okay, let me check that place one second. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit lost. Oh wait, you need the thingy for that. Crap. Okay, hold on, hold on. Wait, how do you get to the garden over there? Okay, the last leaf is over there, but how do you get there? I forgot. Like, which cave gets you there? Really forgot how to get there, seriously. Whoa, I almost drowned. Wait, that doesn't give me anything. Wait, I think I know. Wait, let me go. Wait, how do you get there? What the crap? Okay, someone Google how to get to the garden, because I forgot how to. Wait. I think I remember. There was something here to push, maybe? I remember one house where you could push a bed. Here, check. No, everything checks out. What? What does that mean? Move, frog. Come on, move. Oh, wait, no, now I remember. When I give him the leaves, I can push that statue over there. What the heck? Okay, let's go back to the castle. I remember he was digging somewhere over there. to the character again. Wait, maybe he gives me. Oh crap! Does he give me clues for the specific leave? Go scare that crow by the castle. Oh, okay. I knew it was something in the crow, but how do you... How do you annoy him without the... You need the boots for that, no? What? I was shielding. Crap. Can just throw stuff at them. I only have a bomb, really. I think you need the boots for this. Oh wait, the bomb worked. Really? I did all this for like even it was right there. So hold on a second. Why did he say I need the shovel? Oh, okay, now I remember. When I reach the garden, I need to dig over there. Okay, now I remember. Now I remember. Okay, let's progress to the third dungeon. Where you get the boots, I think. Now move away so I can push the rock. Push the rock. Okay, that's how we're here for that. We're here for the key. Oh crap, don't kill me now! Okay, so here we're supposed to not fall in the freaking hole. We can do this! Oh no, it wasn't here. Wait, I can just do this. Shortcut. Oh, what the crap? Oh no, I may die. Okay, so before I die. Now it says dig here, basically. Now we got the key. Okay, now that let's try to do it anyway. Oh no, he didn't jump, he just went over the hole, dang it. I forgot, you can kind of make 2 hole jumps. Unless you need the... Oh wow, the checkpoint is awesome. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay, let's do it correctly. Wait, you can't do it? Really? Oh, you can. Here. I remember you could. It's easier with the Pegasus boots though. Will I be able to come back? Okay. Oh no, I jumped to the wrong way. Oh no! Banana. Okay, let's go to the third dungeon. Oh wait, I need to go from here for the key first. Damn. Open the prison thing. Now we need to circle all the way back. Okay, so from here we get the Pegasus boots, if I'm not mistaken. And from the fourth dungeon we get the flippers. Jump up the island. Wait, what? Why did I go? Why did I go up over there? No, I was. He was right over there. Jeez. I just went off the path. I saw a ladder. I just climbed it. Jeez. Go, go. Can't wait to get the boots. So I can freaking one fast. Go, go, go. I just wanna kill him. I just wanna kill him. Ah! Okay, good. Let's do the third dungeon. Whoa. Bing. Okay, before I go this way. Oh, you need the boots for that. Hey Jadon, glad you made it to the live stream. Ah! No, why me? Why me? Oh. Moving on. That was quick. Oh, what the crap? Oh, I need to activate the blue thing. Okay, I think that's gonna be the compass. Oh no, I need the other one too. Here, that will make me go fast. Go, 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 go. Go, go. Oh wait, you need the boots. Never mind. The game gives you so like good chances. What the crap? What the heck, man? No, don't die on me, Link. Wait, is that an item bomb or is it gonna explode? Finally. Whoa, come here. Oh no, not him again. If only I had arrows, jeez. What? Seriously? Oh no, I did it the wrong way. No! Why? I died! No! I think I should have went right. The right room is the right one. Whoops. Wrong one. Go! How did that hit me though? Oh no, where? That was a close one. Okay, let's do it correctly this time. See, now I need the key for the other one. It was that easy, apparently. It was that easy. Give me the key, no! Okay, I need to go right. Oh, that's useful again. What the crap? Jump, Link, jump. The game keeps giving you power-ups. What the crap? Whoa. Fast like Sonic. What the crap? Oh no, on the thingy. How many hits? If I had the boomerang or the freaking arrows, I could have hit him from far away. Or the boots. No! No! Okay, good. A title chest. Hey, good ninja. Happy you love the Polo Fur trailer. Oh, what the heck? Give me those bombs. I think that's the compass. Or the map. Or just the road. Moving on to the next. Oh, come on. Wait, what? Jeez. What the crap? Oh no, it's that boss. We gotta use the bomb. Oh no, I'm almost dead. Go, go, eat it! No, why are you not eating it? Oh crap! Why physics in this game? Why? I just put bombs. Why did it kill me though? Apparently when you reach the hands, the pixel hits the creature. What the heck? Just leave me alone! Come on. It's tough. There's no like second. Blue rupee, what? You gotta think. Make it. Ooh, that's useful. That's for noobs. I think I can still do something. Ooh, that's useful too. Okay, for this I need the boots. Only have one bomb left. Oh hell! What the heck? It does so much damage. Jeez Louise. Just one damage, what the heck? Okay, I have one bomb and it's the only one I need. What? He hit me like in midair. What? A key. Oh, compass. Well, that was easy. This is one of the dungeons with so many keys. Bam. Wait, I'm supposed to... Yeah, I'm supposed to kill the boss basically, so let's go kill him. Why? Okay, I got bombs. Let's kill the worms. The heck, man? Why is it so pixel perfect? What? It didn't even swallow it. Okay, one's dead. It was way easier in the original. Oh, that's where they are. Oh, okay, I thought that's just a map. I can finally win. Oh, finally I can run in the game. Whoa. Go. Oh, what? He didn't even make it. I like how they kept it in like in the original one. It was that easy. Wait, I can just jump off. I can just die off. Actually, it's good that I died because it's a shortcut to the end, which I need. Well, you can run with the shield. That's pretty awesome. I need a sword. Banana. It's really cool. You can run with the shield. What the crap, man? Okay, now I need to kill the guy in over there. Bam, bam. I think that's the map, to be honest. No, wait. Yeah, I think it is the map. I already covered the whole dungeon. Oh, jeez. Forgot about this switch. I think that's the map. Gold rupee. 300? He runs funny. Okay, since we don't really need all that. No! Let me run off. Okay, finally. No, what? You gotta be joking me. Wait, did it save the thingy though? What the heck? Oh, we need to do this again. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, now we can grab the stuff. It's just the map and the beacon. I don't really need that. That's the beacon. Anyway. And this is the map. Told you so. Oh, that's good. That's a good thing. Okay, so I think I have all the keys for the boss, right? Yeah, I took all the chests, so we're golden for the boss. Oh, come on, why did he... No, it's easy to kill them. That's one. Two. Three. Wait, what? I'm missing a key? How? Oh, is this? How am I missing a key? Interesting. Now I'm even faster. What? How did he? Oh my god, you're kidding me. Wait, how am I missing a key though? Like, what the crap? Where did I miss one key though? I got a key here. Oh wait, there should be a key here. Oh, I missed that apparently. It was that easy. Hey Uma from Brazil, thanks for joining in. Wait, why am I going from... Oh wait, I can just go for the thing. Like, what the crap? You gotta be exactly in the middle. Okay, let's do the final boss, finally. Bam, bam. He's shocked. Whoa! Super easy. Final boss. extra key of the dungeon, just in case. Is that like actually an extra? I remember one dungeon had like an extra key, maybe two even. Bam! Slime eye. Very original. We gotta cut him in the middle. Hey, that's awesome. Oh no, I'm dead. Nah! No, I'm dead. I'm super dead. They were too much in the bottom of the screen. After this boss fight, we're gonna end the live stream because I don't wanna finish this game in one sitting. I wanna keep it I want it to last a few days actually. It's not that long of a game. You can basically finish it in like 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours, even faster if you know what you're doing. Whoa! And hopefully we'll do part 2 of this game next time. I don't want to finish this game in like one sitting. Oh, that almost hit me. Okay, let's do it correctly. Bang. Bam. Okay, jump off. Oh crap, they didn't land correctly. Okay, now it's good. That was way too easy. I can't believe I died in this part. The easiest boss. Give me that heart container. We got the band. Okay, I think this is the part where you talk to Marin on the beach. So let's see if it is, then we'll go there and then end the stream. Yeah, so we need to go to the mountains basically next, but we'll save it for next time. Jumping off. Wait, I can actually go. Oh, dang it. Oh, what the heck? What the? Okay, so Tallinn is here fighting bees. So he's gonna fight bees. Hey Maxtrox, welcome back. Bam. Just a fairy. It's just a fairy. Still cannot run diagonally. What was in this cave again? Oh, I already did it. Okay. Okay, let's see if it's Marin thingy. No, she's still here. She does it in the fourth dungeon. So yeah, it's not the senior where you actually do it. Hey, but we can go here and do this ghost house. Wait, here you get the ocarina. Now I remember. I used this scene in the spin-off. It was awesome. Easy. Do even faster. Let's be even slower. Bam. I know who. Wait, what's this? Is that something? Just a rock. Let's grab the ocarina. Randomly finding it here. You should learn to play many songs. So if I equip it. That is so silly. Now let have Marin teach me the song. The way he pulled the blanket. Something's happening. Let's sing together. I love this melody. I should have said no. That's one song. Look. Not sure what that item is yet. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. This is what the crap? Don't hit me, doggy. It was an accident. So this is where we live the end stream. Where we live the end stream. Where we end the live stream. But before we do, let me grab the secret t-shirt. Before we go, hold on. There's a secret seashell here. See, I remember correctly. Okay, wait. Let's do one last thing, I guess. Let's see if I can buy the boomerang already. Go, Linger. What? Who said it? There was a ground. What the heck? Thanks for tuning in, Dominic. I really appreciate it. Wait, maybe you need to, I think it just shows up as the 4th dungeon. I think so. Okay, Heroes of Hyrule. Let's go to the ghost house. Okay, Heroes of Hyrule. Oh crap. I want to thank everybody who watched and hang out with me, and hi to everybody in the chat for the last time today. Hopefully we'll be doing a part 2 of this game, because I love this game so much, and it's really fun, like just seeing it refreshed in colorful graphics. So I want to thank everybody who watched, and I love you all, and thanks for commenting on the videos and messaging me on Discord. I really appreciate all the love and support. And until the next stream, whether it's gonna be this or Astral Chain, which looks epic, and I haven't even tried it yet. I'll see you then, heroes. Bye. Have a fun weekend.